What we're going through right now is like a combination of Twilight Zone and Saturday Night Live's Band a Baby. We could all agree that there's something.
I feel like America's already two different countries. I feel like you've got democratic
Yeah.
citizens and you've got
The
Republican
red or the
citizens.
blue. Are you ready?
There's no such thing as honest journalism anymore. There's just not.
Anyone under the age of 35, do you know how often they watch either Fox News, CNN, or MSNBC?
I don't have Trump derangement syndrome, so there's a difference.
Sorry,
So
I had
you-
to pop up there.
You got another couple of Texans today, Crookie.
Yes. And I did see that you were from Australia. That's interesting.
That's about all it is. Essentially.
Yeah. That's the only thing that's interesting about me.
Yeah. Australia is actually on my bucket list to go see someday.
Yeah, well, you should definitely.
Oh,
do it sooner
Crocky
than
will give you
later.
the tour.
Yeah.
He'll
Yeah.
give you the
Yeah.
top tour. So I'm
Yeah.
pretty excited. I'm pretty excited today. I know Crocky.
Yeah.
I think he's excited. This is like
Oh,
his
yeah.
time to shine.
Oh, I'm excited that you're excited.
All right, let me introduce this. Today's guest is Sidney Pines, author of Awakening, A Patriot's Diary of American Deception and Golden Age Rising, a self-defined average American who became deeply concerned about the growing division in our country and decided to document what she saw in a journal for her grandchildren and future posterity. Sidney, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So I did read, like I said, I did not read the first book because I got
Okay.
mixed up. I read the second book first.
Okay.
And I have to ask,
Yes.
have you ever been diagnosed with ADHD?
No, I've never been
No.
diagnosed.
I don't think you're
Okay.
allowed to ask people that, Joe.
I did wonder. I was like, we're probably about to get canceled on that question
I
alone.
think-
But
no.
as
the
I
A
read
word.
it-
You can't say the A word.
as I read it, it's like within one page, there are 10 conspiracies. And then when you turn the next page, you're like, okay, well, we're going to dive in. Then there's 10 more conspiracies. And then you're like,
Yes.
okay, well, we'll come back to those. And you're like, there's another 10. It just keeps going and
Well,
going. and
Keeps going and going. And I'll tell you what, I mean, even though I've never been diagnosed, I guess it's a possibility. Because my mind is always thinking, I hate sin still. So,
Yes. And you wrap one theory in 3 sentences and this on to the next one.
Yeah.
It's like, wait,
In-
what's going on?
In Sydney's
yes.
defense, it's not really a new conspiracy if it's the same conspirers.
yes.
Fair.
And you keep hearing the same thing. And you're hearing it's going to come out or fruition. And then, woohoo, you're all excited. And then it doesn't. So it's funny because the fact that a lot of times it can be all over the place is really, number one, it is all over the place. I mean, I don't care what side you're on. What we're going through right now is like a combination of Twilight Zone and Saturday Night Live's Band a Baby. And that explains the whole world. So everything is all over the place. And the second reason why is our goal, mine and my publisher, is to keep it natural, to keep it real. So when I come across these things, it'd be like calling my friends.
You definitely dropped some real salty language, though.
Yeah.
It gave flavor to it. I
Well-
always try to push myself to it. How can I escalate Ethan to ultimate maximum?
Well,
how we
That's
get
usually
flavor
what
on this
comes
show.
out. Yeah,
That's how we
exactly.
get flavor on this show. Yeah.
And if you think that had some salty language, I feel like toned it down versus from book
So if
one.
I get to
So
the
do we.
first one, I
So do
see. Exactly.
I guess it's an easy read. You know, it really is. It's like you don't have to Google all these big words, that's for sure.
Right.
It's
I
so-
don't know what the big words mean.
Well,
so I could probably
yeah.
read the book.
I
Yeah.
want to try to get to the heart of where this started. So one, first to set the scene. I know
Okay.
in the book you are looking for work. You do mention that a few times that you're in the job market. And then at the end, you're like, actually, this is my calling. Forget a job. I'm going
Yeah.
to write this book. But you bring up one thing that I want to just find out a little bit about because our show, we talk about population decline often and any different things. But you have a situation where Social Security, part of it comes in, but part of it you get cut out of because you're working part-time, or I didn't quite understand that part of the
no.
situation.
That's not us. That's someone we know.
And
And that was just me pretty much complaining about the world and the government. I feel we've known this for years. I remember hearing this when I was little and my parents and my grandparents. Once you get to a certain age and you start collecting Social Security, if you want to still work, because today's 65-year-old is like yesterday 30-year-old.
60 is
65.
the new 30, Joe.
I know a lot of 60
I'm with you.
year olds.
I'm with you.
30
My
year olds.
grandmother
That makes us
just
20.
turned
That makes
100.
us 20,
Oh,
Joe.
yes.
That makes
Yes.
us 20.
Yeah, Crook and
Yeah.
I, we're just getting out of college. We're
20s. for sure.
Life's done.
So if they still want to work because they don't want to just sit around and let their muscles and brain go to mush, they want to still do something. They want to keep their brain busy, their muscles, and they want to contribute back to society. The government says, well, you can only make this much. We've all known that, but I feel the last
Before it reduces their Social Security
Exactly.
time at that. I mean, they pay into it, so it would grow over
Well,
time,
but
but
I
it
think
Right.
is
you-
what they receive. Yep.
At some point, you would even lose the side, the fringe benefits, Joe. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? No,
it's
because
like-
not everything's a tax exemption. Sometimes, like it's a discount or whatever it is,
Yeah.
that you might lose if you don't.
We're not a socialist country like Australia, Crocky.
But
Are you sure? Are you sure?
No, fair enough.
Believe me. So again, yes, you're almost penalized. They take some money back, blah, 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 if you want to still work. So somebody we know came to us all upset, and she's like, only half of my Social Security got deposited. They found out I was working, and she is
Who dobbed? Who
young and
tattletale?
active, and well, that was
Stitches
the,
get stitches.
that's actually the
Same.
scary part, because it's like she didn't file taxes yet. How did they know? And then she's telling me, a conspiracy theorist. So I'm like, she leave.
Of course.
I'm like,
Of course.
you know.
Well, I have
know
another
exactly.
question.
Yeah.
Where do you still find chat rooms?
But there's several chat rooms on Telegram.
Really? Oh, Telegram. Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Telegram.
several.
Ah,
And that's actually what made me want to look into getting the book published.
yeah, that's
My
right.
chat rooms, and one person I know personally that literally was disowned by 2 family members because of her beliefs. And
Mm.
I went to these chat-
Political beliefs.
Correct.
Which
And-
has, as we talked a couple weeks ago, seems to become like religious beliefs. So.
And chat
terrible.
rooms, Joe. This is showing how young we are or old.
Yeah.
Because
Well, that's what I said. I
Well,
haven't
what I'm
heard the
saying
word
is, like,
chat
so-
room in
no,
like
it's the new
30
YouTube.
years.
Oh, how
It's the new
funny.
YouTube. It's the new
Yeah.
YouTube. Everyone's doing it live now, Joe. Everyone's talking to each other live. Eh?
Well, Telegram, I am
Still has
familiar
chat
with.
rooms. They
That,
still have chat
that
rooms.
Russian bot service I don't use.
Yeah. So when I saw a lot of people in my chat rooms, my niece won't talk to me, my grandson, blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
So here's the thing. I don't even remember at this point if I put it in book 2. I know you didn't read book 1 yet. I specifically say, the stuff I'm following, I don't know if it's right. I have no way of knowing. I don't. Nobody does. I think no matter what side you're on, though, we can all agree that there's something. Something.
In fact,
Yeah.
can we dive into? You do have a conspiracy you bring up a few times
Mhm.
that I would love for you to kind of. It's one everybody talks about, and I thought, this one resonates throughout this book, through everywhere.
Ooh.
And there's some interesting. You do not like it to be called QAnon. You want it to be Q-tard and Anon, right? So
Okay,
I heard-
Sydney, before we start then, can I ask a question from an outsider perspective?
Sure.
So if you're aware that the information and data changes or evolves, right? And
Mhm.
we have to recorrect ourselves from time to time.
Uh,
So why, first of all, you choose a side. Do you choose a side?
I'll admit I look at all sides.
Okay,
I'll
but do you
choose a
still,
side.
like, if someone was to ask, this is an American thing? I don't think it's as big outside of America. Most other country, they identify as a citizen, not as a party of that country. So
Uh-huh.
I feel like America's already 2 different countries. I feel like you've got Democratic
Yeah.
citizens and you've got
the
Republican
red or the blue?
citizens.
Are you red or
So
are you
Yeah.
are
blue?
you a
Yes.
Republican citizen or are you a Democratic citizen?
Well, here's the thing. It's not Republican versus Democrats. I feel it's
I know.
global.
That's how it has to be at the vote,
Yeah.
right? So I get that.
Oh, yeah,
So-
I'd be red. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, she
okay.
actually
Yeah.
defines it as 3 buckets, just to be clear, Crocky. And I'm pulling from the book, so correct me if I'm wrong. But she has
No,
3
I'm just trying to
buckets
get a
where she
base here
says,
as well.
she says one is liberal Democrat. They're in one bucket.
Uh-huh.
And then you have MAGA on the right.
Uh-huh.
And in the middle is rhinos.
Mhm.
And so she would put those, I guess all those would be classified as red, right? But the rhinos, her book is not very,
Rhino
Fair.
skin.
So what I'm seeing is from an outsider is, so you're still not seeing it from a neutral perspective, because to me, I've lived in America for 10 years. I know that there's people outside those parties, right?
Uh-huh.
They don't count because they throw it.
He invented half of these conspiracies,
No,
so
no,
he
no,
can't
no.
claim to be unbiased.
Listen, they don't count. Well, I'll be the fact checker in this conversation.
Yeah, okay. I love it.
So what I'm saying is I just need it for background because even though you're telling this story as someone who's aware that there is these different sections or factions within the different parties, you're still someone who believes that there's still red versus blue.
Yeah. And I wish it wouldn't be that way. And I hope I send that message across.
Send that message across.
No, I mean what I'm about to say
There's
next.
a really red flag in the book.
What I'm about to say next, I hope I send the message across, is my biggest wish is I do want unity. It shouldn't be red versus blue. When I was growing up, my mom would vote for one person, my dad would vote for another. Oh, okay, cool, your guy won. Now what's for dinner? End of story. This is different.
Yeah, this is religion now. It's like
it's
from
horrible.
an outsider, it looks like, say, in Iraq, I don't know much about Iraq, but I know that there's Shiite. How do you say it? I don't want to, my accent's going to ruin it.
Shiite, but that's Iran.
Yeah.
The Sunnis are more Iraq.
Okay, yeah. So what I'm saying is that's what Democrats and
there
Republicans
are a
sound
mixture of Sunni.
Because until recently, they also had to be Christian.
She also isn't too fond of Muslims, so that's probably not a good one.
But even you go back, America's not America
my God,
anymore.
you make me sound horrible.
When I was still living in America, it was back in 2010, there was not one senator in the Senate that was an atheist yet or not a Christian. There were two versions of Christianity, Democrats and the Republicans. So
yeah.
Well, I'm just trying to say, like, from an outside of America perspective, there's 100 and something other countries, almost 200 other countries in the world. And when they see America, they don't see it as who's right or who's wrong. They see it as two different religions.
Yeah.
That's kind of the Orrin Hatch days where it was you were either
like a communist
very religious or you were a communist.
Yeah.
But where do you think this got started? If we were to go back, where did the divisiveness come in? Do you have any recollections?
When I grew up, like I said, if they had two different political beliefs, it was no big deal. It wasn't even talked about. It was nothing. What made me first started digging is I felt so many things were off and things didn't make sense. Things were very obvious that I thought. I noticed the bias in the news. I noticed I would see speeches given and I'd see 10 seconds of a 45-minute speech on MSN, and it was not the words that I heard and I'm like, what's going on?
Oh, you can say it, Fox News. It's clear. You have it
No,
clear in your book.
It's cherry picking.
So then I explain in detail, like I said, book one, just how does a social media mogul have the authority to kick the president of the United States off of social media? I mean, and I have to admit, I was never a fan of Obama. If somebody would have done that to him, I wouldn't have thought.
Or his wife.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been because of their political opinion, though, Joe. To be honest, come on, like
right.
whatever they did, it
has
wouldn't have
nothing to do
been
with their
because of that.
opinion.
Yeah.
Well, you know that. I mean, Crocky gets to a point where I do wonder myself because as you look into the past, like where division happened. You know, I was a kid during the Clinton administration, but there was lots of bickering and arguing. And I know, I'm speaking from women, specifically women that I know very well, much older, but they hate Hillary Clinton. And as I've dug in, they hate Hillary. The closest thing I could come out to is they hate her because she didn't leave him when he cheated on her. And that they are just, you know, mad livid and that's the only thing I can pull for them. But they're more angry at her than they are at him. So when she came in, it was turned into this fire to where we must do anything it takes, you know, for her to lose. And that sort of seems to be somewhat of a schism.
Well, if that was really the reason, I mean, because she didn't leave him, that's absurd. If it's because they dug and did research.
Yeah. If it was because it was anti-government, which is what it was. And I think that's why you can pinpoint it to the exact insanity. I can tell you when the news started lying to everyone. You picked up on it and you said, like, you started to notice these things. I can tell you when it happened. It happened in 2016. The very first, it was almost like they were trying to Mandela Effect us in real time. Okay, so you know what Mandela Effect is? It's when they go back and they change something and then it's not the same as it was, right? So they did it in real time. And what I mean by that is they literally were saying, President Trump is not running for president, okay? He is not running for the Republican Party. He is not going to represent the Republican Party. He's not going to win the nominations for the Republican Party. Okay, he's not going to win the presidency, even though
I see.
did.
You're talking about the press. The
I'm talking
press
about
was
the press and
continuously
everyone.
trying to.
That's what Sydney's talking about. That's where she's
Yeah,
starting to
yeah.
picking up these inconsistencies where reality is not matching what they're gaslighting you in real time.
Right. And then just stuff, silly stuff. And I would tell somebody about it, and they're like, "Really, Sydney? Really?" I'm like, "No, you got to look at the whole picture. This is journalism. They can't do that." I would pick up on when they were talking about him that the three would be sitting at their desk, rolling their eyes. Oh yeah, I'm trying. It's like you can't do that.
And really, fake news. That is fake news.
Let's dive into the mainstream media, as they call it. Sydney, I think you might be shocked by this, but do you realize that anyone under the age of 35, do you know how often they watch either Fox News, CNN, or MSNBC?
I don't think they do at all.
0 minutes.
Right.
So the total viewer for Fox News, just Fox News, which oddly enough, this happens to be Ted Turner just passed away at 89, and he really helped bring to fruition the world of 24/7 news. So this was like ultimate stimuli, right?
I thought it was Ron Burgundy.
But Fox News right now has 2.8 million viewers. MSNBC 1.25, CNN less than 1 million.
Okay.
So this is almost nobody is watching this anymore. And yet people still talk about it. And their viewership is like over 80. It's really high. So if you're over 80, this is the thing to watch. But other than that, that's not mainstream media anymore.
I'll tell you the irony, because everyone under 35 is not listening to those sources, right? Yet anyone under 35 will not believe anything you say unless you use those places as a source.
You
have to cite those, yes. So nothing is real unless the newspaper or the TV said it. For under 35 still. Unless you can share something with a quote. And that's where you get to the biased news and people searching their own news platforms now, right? And there's becoming more of that because there's a market for it.
Do you think these mainstream media still has a place in our world just because it's a qualifier?
Because it's a source.
So if I'm on TikTok and I see I'd say 30-second, but they're not even, that's like a 5-second video.
Right.
I'm qualifying it based on, what source it came in.
Joe, if I ask ChatGPT right now what's real and what's happening, what's it going to use to tell me what's real and what's happening? And you're talking about the people under 35. They're probably all asking Chat what's happening. So Chat is using all of those sources to come up with the narrative.
And they don't even really know what to say. It gets confused. And I'm telling you, everyone's trying to figure out between CGI, AI, misinformation, disinformation. Nobody knows what's real anymore.
Propaganda.
Oh my God. And then you mentioned TikTok. So, if people go on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook Reels or whatever, the younger generation, but your algorithm picks up on that's what you look at. So it's like, that's all they're going to be fed, including myself. My sources are only going to show me stuff but I know how those algorithms work. So I also do try to look at the other side and everything. But those people that, you believe Biden's the best, your phone's going to know, your laptop, you're only going to get information regarding that.
You think it creates a silo because once they can figure out like, oh, you lean this way, I'm going to only give you this. And that
Joe
is sort of...
Joe and I just thought we were right all the time. Hey, Joe.
Basically, that's ChatGPT, though, right? It's constantly telling you, like, what a great idea. Oh, you're so right. It's a great idea. So it's just feeding you the same cycle, right?
It is. And then someone tries to have a conversation because that's all they see. They don't want to hear someone else's. And that contributes to the division. People are stressed. People cannot even stand going out in public. Not me. I don't care. I'm past it. A lot of people still to this day don't even like going out in public.
Yeah, Crocky hasn't been outside in what, 20 years?
Since I got arrested. Show
the bracelet.
Oh, wait, you're in Australia, so did you post a bad meme or something?
I swore in public.
What you're talking about really happened.
I could go get it for you. I got a $160 fine for swearing in public. I'm literally not going outside anymore.
So, you just made me think of something. So I have got a son that my youngest Adam, he believes with me. He believes the COVID the guidelines, everything was blown to proportion. He believes in the corruption. He believes there's something going on. But he feels, I guess, I don't know, lack of better words, Trump's in on it with him. He's not a fan of Trump. He does not like Trump. And I get it. So he'll send me videos and stuff. Again, I don't get them because of my algorithms. He'll send me stuff and I watch them. And then we'll discuss them. I'm not listening to your stuff. And same thing for him. I'll be like, well, this is why I think. And he'll be like, he'll watch it. I don't know, Mom. And it's like, actually give us both kudos for being like that. You know, the world's, like I said, so divided that they don't even want to hear it. And so we do try to look at all sides because the bottom line is, can I cuss on your show? Oh, okay, all right. I don't give a shit which way is right
Never
or
stops
not
crocky.
right. Yeah.
I'm inside. I'm in my own house now. Fuck the government.
Well, you read book too. You know how my language is.
Exactly.
But I don't give a shit who's right. I don't. The bottom line is, I want this to stop. It's horrible. It should not be this way. It should not be this way.
And by that, you mean this division where it's a line. I mean, you do have to
Yes.
pick a camp and then
Yes.
automatically it gets polarized no matter what's going on.
Exactly.
You know, I think back to where this happened, going back, I think it's even a little farther than 2016. If you remember the Tea Party.
I think it just became obvious. Yeah, there's always been,
the
the
Tea Party was big in
Texas.
Texas.
Okay.
And it helped get Ted Cruz into office. I don't know if you remember, they
I
changed
still
the
see that around
boundaries.
here. Yeah.
And by the time primaries came around, there was no other election. So Tea Party threw a bunch of money in and got Ted Cruz into office. And the Tea Party was a big movement. And they were, the one thing I liked about the Tea Party, I'm not a Tea Partier, but they wanted to cut the deficit. They were like, cut debt. And that was a top thing for them, right? I didn't align with them as far as immigration policy and a few other things, but they definitely wanted to cut the deficit. They were one of the last groups of the Republican Party that were concerned about our debt.
Okay.
And then that sort of got usurped when Trump got elected in 2016. The Tea Party, you never heard about him again. It was gone. It was gone. The power had shifted. And it really became
Not
this
by
MAGA
choice.
party
Not by choice,
taken over.
because I think we need to get talking about Trump soon, because that's really what happened. And Republican Party was on a trajectory, and Trump destroyed that. Trump absolutely destroyed it, to the point where literally the Republicans threw away a presidency for 4 years and they just let Joe Biden.
Now, Sidney,
run away
you
with
got to
it, right?
understand, Crocky's recovering. A year ago, that was not the message he was.
This is why this is why I should be the fact checker, because I don't like Trump. I don't have Trump derangement syndrome. So there's a difference.
Yes.
Let's blame the media first. It's the media's fault that media built Trump, because the media, instead of actually using reality against him, they over exaggerated. They used hyperbole when they didn't need to. Trump was going to sink himself. Look how stupid he is today. And now they can't do anything because now everyone's already been brainwashed into this is how he is. And they have to accept it.
Didn't he also play a hand that used the media? The one thing that I think Trump has proven to be amazing at is playing the media. No matter how many times you see it, he's like, I just want to be, I don't care what I say, I don't care what I do. Any press is good press. And what's crazy is I think through the Biden time, and I do remember even thinking Trump's running, I was like, man, to be honest, you hardly ever hear the president. There's not a lot going on. Sleepy Joe, fantastic, because we're getting a little rest. And then I almost felt anxious, thinking, no, not another 4 years. And then it has been. It's not even every day. It's every couple of hours. He's got to do something to stay, top in the press. It's like, I'm just,
He is the master of trolling and getting his jabs in, that's for sure.
But so doesn't the media just fall into it? I mean, that's less of a conspiracy from the media trying to play him down and more like them covering him.
The media makes
saying,
money
hey, don't vote for Trump is still covering him.
The media makes money off Trump derangement syndrome. Even when Biden was president, Trump was still dominating the news headlines. There was just less to print because he wasn't president.
So that's not really a conspiracy. That is selling fear.
Well, it is conspiracy. It's conspiracy by the people in the media to want to make more money selling stories. What don't you get about conspiracy? I think Joe's after a conspiracy that is not true, but sounds good. That's the problem.
Well, I just mean that's not a conspiracy. That is
that's
business.
The definition of a
that's
conspiracy.
Like saying, oh, look, it's a conspiracy because these little kids are trying to sell lemonade next to the thing. It's like, no, that's their business. They sell lemonade. It's not a conspiracy. Like news, 24-hour news has a 24/7 cycle.
Yes.
So anything they can like prop up and do, like headlines are by definition a misguiding thing to help you want to read the article, right?
That's
so
right.
they're
They
selling
grab you.
headlines.
And
for
there's
24/7. It's a long cycle to have to try to sell news.
And again, no matter what side you're on, I think there's no such thing as honest journalism anymore. There's just not.
Very few people pay for it. So if you're
Yes.
not going to pay for your news, then how are they going to have enough money to try to do any real, investigation to anything?
And you mentioned Fox News earlier. I'll tell you, I really rarely watch any of them anymore. I discovered, I never knew this when I was back in the Midwest. There is 4 or 5 different Fox Newses. I never knew that. And the one I liked was the one with Jesse Waters, Laura Ingraham. That's the one I loved.
Each of them have
get
like their
there.
broadcasting station, and then they'll break them down into regions. So,
Yeah,
depending on how and what, there's actually lots of them. But then there's the national one, which is the one everybody really references, which is that's like the Fox News.
Okay, because I can't get the one that used to show Jesse Waters and Laura Ingraham. I can't get that out here. Maybe if I had to pay for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like you just haven't paid. But
Yeah. And actually, I did pay for cable.
they know those 82-year-olds will pay for them. Those
Yes.
octarians are like, they'll fork it out. So.
And I did pay for it back in the West, so that's probably what it was. I had cable. I don't have cable anymore. So for that reason, I don't even watch that anymore. I really don't. But I did get sidetracked. Imagine that. You asked me if I had ADD, right? When you had mentioned your arrest for cussing in public, one of my kid that doubts everything, he asked me, he's like, how do you know? How do you know, Mom, that the crap you're following, how do you know that's fake news? Now, I'll touch base on this if you read it. I feel there's 3 different psyops going on in the world. But I stumbled years ago, maybe after the 2020 election, so maybe 2021, I stumbled across all my stuff I was looking at that in the history class in Russia, they have actual textbooks teaching the kids about the stolen 2020 American election. So we used to go to the Caribbean every summer or every winter. So I go there one day and I meet a financial advisor who lives in Canada, but it's his job to go to different countries because he's got to keep up with all the different currency, the dinar and all that. And we started talking about this. And he said, did you know that in Russia, they're teaching their kids about the stolen 2020 elections? They actually have a textbook on it. And I didn't even prompt him. And I'm like, I did read that. So I went back home and I told and then I heard about Australia, well, how you can get a ticket for cursing in public. And I remember telling my son, I'm like, people have seen it. That's why I feel my news is not the fake news. I feel that was like a
put it out there.
Yeah.
You do quote Kirill Dmitriev quite a few times.
Yeah, I do. That's new. That's brand new. Well, not new. It ended in December, so maybe it was November. I don't remember
Just
the
for
dates.
clarity, he runs the Russian Sovereign Wealth Fund. He's good buddies with Putin.
Yep.
Very big into fake
Sounds
news
like
and
CNN to me.
propaganda.
Yes.
Sounds like CNN
I
to
do.
me.
So I actually quote him in book 3 also. So, okay, let me tell you about the 3 different psyops. Okay, you guys might be well aware.
Now we're getting juicy. Let's go.
Yes. Okay, so here's what I feel is going on. There's a 4th group too, but I don't think that's a psyop.
I'll tell you who they are.
Okay, the 4th. Well, I'll get
It
the
involves you, Crockett.
I'll get the 4th group out of the way right now. I don't think it's a psyop. The 4th group actually describes me prior to 2019. There's a group that's not paying attention to anything. They're not paying attention to either side. They're just going about like,
The white
what?
glove.
Yeah, well, wait, what's going on? Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't like him. I'll vote in 2028. Yeah, they're not paying attention. And it's not that they're ignorant, not that they're turning a blind eye. It just doesn't interest them. And politics never interested me either till 2019. So they're just going to work, taking care of their kids, and that's it. But that's not a psyop. That's just a different group. The 3 psyops I feel are going on are you got the diehard left, you got the liberals, you got the nose rings, the blue hair, the TDS, and they truly believe Biden, Harris, Obama, they're wonderful, and we should support transgenders. And
I think it's called Google, isn't it? It's Google?
Yeah. And if my little Billy at the age of 5 wants to become Susie, I'm okay with that because you got the world telling them it's okay. You are showing equality. You're showing diversity. It's okay. That's a psyop. Then you got the middle group who I'm in the middle group, who believes that if
These aren't the rhinos. This is different. This
No,
is
so the rhinos refers to the actual politicians. The rhinos
gotcha,
is the
gotcha.
Republican politicians that turn bad. So then you got the middle group who they truly believe Trump was set up. They still believe in MAGA. They still think make America great. Everything he's doing is for a reason. Everything he says has a reason. And if you read the
5D
law,
chess.
yeah, exactly. If you read the law and war manual, they say you'll understand. I ain't going to read it. It's 1,800 pages. I'm not reading it. I'll watch the other people. And then you got the third group who says everyone's messed up, including Trump, and they're all in on it together. We're doomed. Armageddon's going to happen. We're all screwed. And again, which one you follow, that's what's fed to you through your phones. But that's what I feel. And nobody knows. The whole transgender thing could be right. I don't think it is. But you know what I'm saying? The middle group could be right. The other group could be right. The whole world is corrupt, including Trump. We're all pretty much screwed. And I feel like if you go out somewhere and you meet someone, they're one of those three categories. They hate Trump. They love Trump. They love Obama.
I mean, it does seem like they put a stake in, they make some claims, and then that is what they're going to fight with. So in your book, you give what you say are MAGA's top issues. I didn't look for MAGA. I solely and you gave them in a nice list form. So
you'll have to refresh my memory
so
on
I'll
that.
tell you.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Number 1, secure borders.
Okay.
Number 2, fair elections. Number 3, energy independence. Number 4, save babies, which I assume is in regards to abortion.
Yes.
And stop gender mutilation, which you mentioned, was number 5. I think we know what we're referencing there. Number 6, parents first. Number 7, school choice. Number 8, protection of the Constitution. Number 9, America first. Number 10, tough on crime. Those are what you said are the top 10. And then there's a couple outliers that I sort of threw in that you
Protecting babies is Epstein, Joe. That Epstein counts as protecting babies. Come on.
Yeah. Actually, no, I was referring to the abortion rights. Yeah.
I know, but you can lump it in like it's the same
You
category.
sure can. Yes.
Crockett brings up a really good, because from the time you finished this book to now, some of these have changed.
It's not a new conspiracy, Joe, if it's the same conspirators. That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's what I mean is would this list change now? And if it is, what are these groups if the lists are ever changing? If a group just comes together, and its logic seems to me, now, I'll be honest, I'm a third party, so I think that's a license just to complain about everything. And that's pretty much how I like to roll, just complain about everything. So I always think if I voted for you, it doesn't mean I'm now the opposit of your biggest advocate.
You owe me. You owe
deliver,
me.
Yes.
right? So now I am like scathing.
I own you.
Yeah, exactly. And the world works. People are, jumping in. They're like, I elected this person. Once they're elected, it is 100% do whatever you can to justify whatever actions are being done. And that just seems so strange to me.
I think it's time to bring up like a conspiracy theory, because I think this is where it has changed, and this is where you get at least one of those groups forming, Sydney. And this is a moment, this is why I call it a conspiracy theory, because this is like the Kennedy or the 9/11 of our current contemporary time, right? And we just had another one of these, and it was the Trump assassination attempt. I don't care whether you're left or right, wherever I read or hear about this, no one believes that there's not a conspiracy about this. And to me, as an outsider who doesn't have Trump derangement syndrome, that's where Trump changed.
Are you referring to the recent one at the
No, I'm talking to the first one, Butler. Yeah,
the air.
Because
air.
I saw it in real time, or where it was. I saw it in real time, and I thought it was real. But I also thought 9/11 was real in real time as well. So if I was around when Kennedy was shot, I probably would have thought that was real. If I was when the moon landing was around, I would have thought that was real. So I thought the assassination attempt on Trump was real at the time, and I defended.
Crockett, I didn't know you were against the moon landing.
I'm against the narrative of the moon landing, but anyway, we'll keep going.
He admits the Earth is round now, though, so we've come a long way.
Yeah. But
I don't care if it's round,
let me
flat, or
finish
shaped
about
like SpongeBob.
my perspective of the Butler conspiracy, or the first Trump conspiracy assassination.
Okay.
When I saw it in real time, I thought it was real. Now, having a clearer mind, and also with more recent events and more recent assassinations and assassination attempts, like as America's pretty dicey place politically right now. Like it's probably the most violent politically country on earth right now.
Yes.
Besides Iran. Whose fault is that? Anyway, no,
Yes.
but so I thought, looking back at it now, I think that Trump thought it was real, but I think it was a conspiracy. I think it was all fake.
The assassination attempt.
And I think it was to make Trump realize that, look, if you don't do what we say, we can put a bullet
Oh,
on
it's
you.
a
And we
warning
can do it in
shot.
public. We could do it in public like we did it to Kennedy. And so I think that conspiracy was definitely real. That's my version of it. I'm sure there's all different versions of it. And then the most recent assassination attempt, I think that they realized, that worked last time, because not only did it scare Trump, but it also got us across the votes we needed. We got us the votes. And I think they're going to use that for midterm votes with another assassination attempt.
Okay, I think you've just out-conspiracied Sydney.
Well,
She's taken back. She's like, wait a minute, he's worse than me.
I have heard a lot of conspiracies about Butler, and I did not hear the one that it was a warning. But I'm telling you, anything's possible. You guys know anything's possible. So I'm willing to look at all. It's definitely a possibility. But what I do think is funny is he's had how many rallies? I lost track. I put it in the book. I forgot. 96 or something.
Many.
But CNN, that was the only one they covered. That was the only one they were in. I'm sorry. Something like that, that's not a coincidence.
Oh, you mean, well, I mean,
like a closed
I have
group.
heard that, but I mean, there's so
Limited
many.
hangout. Limited hangout.
What?
Yeah,
But that's it. Is like Twitter is a form of media. Elon Musk has what, 300 million followers? 300 compared to
Right.
all these sources.
Does he?
And if you're telling
Does
me
he?
when he
A lot
tweets
of those
something,
are
when
Russian bots, aren't they?
fair enough. But even during the election, what I was annoyed is I kept getting his feed. I unfollowed him specifically, and it still gave me his feed.
Really?
So
It's
he
like
is a
YouTube
news source.
It's like YouTube
Oh,
on
right.
iTunes.
Yeah, right. You can't go away.
But that's what I mean is like there's so many news sources where everyone can be a news source. So
No, it's
I'm
always
not
changing.
going to any major media to get that. Now you mentioned these psyops, and I think this is a great concept to think about in the psyops. Having these three psyops is how do these differ than a cult? And I only want to put that because in the day we had these cults, and as we think about cults, I'm originally from Oregon, and as we say in Texas, bless my heart.
Yeah.
So I'm originally from Oregon, and there was this massive cult following that happened in the center of Oregon.
I do.
Here in Waco, that story's still out there, but it was a cult
Absolutely.
nonetheless of what happened in Waco. There's cults that happen, and we think of them as being a location where someone's there, and it's part of the control is to be on location.
Right.
But now that we've moved into a digital world, can't these cults now exist in a digital form? Like you don't
Absolutely.
have to be in a location. So therefore, can't these psyops almost be cult-like?
Absolutely. And 100%. And Maga is definitely accused of being a cult. And maybe some are. I can only speak for myself and the people I know where it's not true. They also say we're violent and racist. Not true. We hate the division. I don't care if you're black, brown, green, or purple. You're a good person. Come to my house. I'll make you cookies. We're not racist. We're not violent. And we're definitely not a cult. And when Trump was on the air talking about taking the vaccine, warp speed, all of us who did our research on the COVID vaccine were like, screw you. No, we're not. And we used our own discernment. We used our own common sense. We didn't follow Trump. And just recently, he gave a speech and he was bragging about the price of groceries being down. And it's like, where do you live? I just paid an arm and a leg for my groceries.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There is no affordability problem.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm screaming at the TV. I'm like, what are you talking about? Are you insane? And I still support Trump. So I'm going to agree with everything he says. So no, like I said, I can only speak for myself and people in my circle. We are definitely not a cult. And there's a lot of things he's done recently that we disagree with. No, because of the stuff we believe in and the stuff we're following. Let's face it, one of those psyops has to be right. Unless there's a fifth, sixth, seventh one out there we don't know about. Well, one of them has to be right. So the stuff we're following is even the stuff we don't agree with. He has a reason. He's doing the law and war manual. The military's involved with him. You know.
Or he's wearing 11 buttons and she's wearing 3.
Oh, you saw that?
No, I read it in your book.
Oh,
It's
11,
like,
3.
you're looking at the details.
I
I was like, wow.
I am so impressed.
Calms. You call them
much.
calms. You call them calms, right? So these are calms. Now,
Yes,
do you
yes.
believe that Trump is Q plus?
No, I don't.
No, he's not Q plus.
I need to clarify. I don't even know if I believe Q. So I
Crocky is Q, I'm telling you.
I'm not Q, but sometimes I think Q must check my emails or some shit because,
yeah. So no, I don't think he's Q.
Now, just so we know, this is the QAnon. This is the agent that supposedly released a lot. And a lot of things he said, turns out there is like, this is kind of talking. And then you find out like, wait, Epstein was out there. So some weird, quirky things that don't add up. Pizzagate, I think hopefully we all agree it's not true. It's a basement. And, oddly enough, the guy who took a gun, his name is Edgar. So.
Yes. And oh my God, what a memory you have. So I believe in the possibility of this being a Q military.
So you're saying I got a chance?
Yeah. Oh, right. That's what I'm saying. Oh my God, from Dumb and Dumber. Whenever something happens, I'm like, so I still have a chance. That's so funny. But anyways, so I believe in the possibility. I don't follow the Q boards, but I follow the people who decode them because I want to know every avenue. I want to know there's something going on. I want to know every avenue of what it could be. And like I said,
so you'll bite onto anything, but you're not swallowing.
This is the problem.
I'm just trying to stay alert to everything.
This is the problem. This is why me and Joe are so ignorant to MAGA, and why everyone is really ignorant to MAGA, right? Is because even the media won't even tell us what Q is. They won't give an honest description of what Q is or what's happening there, right?
Okay.
And that feeds into the conspiracy because, look, the media is doing exactly what Q, and they're not acknowledging it. They're calling us all crazy and cult. So I don't know anything about MAGA because I don't know anything about Q because I haven't been reading any of the drops. But if you are, I have heard a rumor about something to do with Kennedy Jr. Do you want to try and explain that conspiracy? Because I think that's great. I'm sure Joe hasn't heard this. And I
haven't heard this one.
This gets to the heart.
I looked up to try to find the latest, and it's supposedly Hillary Clinton is not Hillary Clinton. She's been arrested.
Book one.
The only way you can do this, Joe, is if you go undercover in the MAGA cult, right? And then
wait, no, let's say. I want to hear. I'm gonna shut up. Let's hear.
Because this goes all the way back to Kennedy and 9/11 and Hillary Clinton and everything. Like I've been trying to tell you.
Of course, it all makes sense.
Please inform us, Sidney, of what.
Okay. So basically what you guys want is a real quick synopsis of the Q and the start of the conspiracies.
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Yes,
we're up.
I think that'll set. Then we can share it with the world.
There we go.
Okay, and here we go. And we're up. So, allegedly, there is this military operation. Only 5 people in the world know about it. And so no one knows. There's not a particular person who's Q. There could be someone in charge of the boards or posting, but I don't think there's one particular person. And please keep in mind, everything I'm saying can be wrong. I don't have top military clearance.
Oh, don't pitch that.
No.
Don't pitch that. Give it to us hard. Give it to us as
you'll
fact.
Be court-martialed. I think you're going to be fine. We don't need to be in a skip.
This is fact. This is fact. Go for it.
All right. So this has been in the works for years, allegedly. It's been in the works for years. They knew. In 2016, when Trump won the first time, they knew he was going to win because people wanted someone that wasn't a politician. They injected votes because they wanted to make sure Hillary won, but she didn't. And they didn't inject enough. So they had to really make sure to overdo it on 2020. Now, they called Trump, and he is part of this. He's played a role, and he is part of this. And the real JFK Jr. did not die in the plane crash. And he's been working with Trump. And supposedly, allegedly, when the disclosures come out, he will make an appearance. Now, again, I will say I am 100% on board that it's a possibility. I'm not 100% on board that it's true. So, and after 6 years of digging, and coming across all of this, it's a possibility. And it's real funny because when it first happened, I remembered my family sitting around the table saying, there's no way he died. He faked his own death. So the conspiracy's been going on since I could even remember. But then I was checking it out and digging, and I see you shaking your head. Listen,
No, I know who killed him. It was actually George W. Bush, and I'm not joking. That's not a joke.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Like
conspiracy at a time, Crockett. I think this is what I'm worried.
Just boom, boom,
This is what I'm worried about, Crockett. The
too many bubbles.
The two of you with too many conspiracies. Focus on this one. All right, JFK is going to rise from the dead. He's not dead, apparently.
Yeah, he wasn't dead.
He's going to show to be alive.
Yes, allegedly. So,
Allegedly.
yes. Well, supposedly, because I don't know.
Okay.
It's a big part of the plan, isn't it?
It's part of the plan.
Okay.
So these cue boards, it's really funny because a lot of them have come to fruition. And you'll notice a repetitive.
But haven't just as many, if not more, not come to fruition?
How many?
Like a lot. I mean, Hillary did not get arrested. They did not do any of the deaths. So, I mean, there's been unless maybe which they came back to say, oh, it's true. That's not the real Hillary.
Yeah, but we're nowhere near that point, I don't think. Or it hasn't happened yet. We know that. We're still sitting here.
I think the best explanation that I've heard for it, Joe, is that a lot of these people, and I'm only going by some people that I've seen post.
Oh, now they're these
Twitter.
people now. Do you see how he like that?
I think they are Q people. Like they come across my feed, right? So, and I don't know. I at least knew the Kennedy connection, right? Because of what they're sharing. But they're not sharing everything. But I think the way that they explain away the Hillary Clinton arrest is that she is arrested as someone pretending to be her. Just like with the Biden, when Biden was in office, do you know about the Biden conspiracy where he's got 3 or 4 different heights?
Yeah,
there's tall Biden.
They're all different.
There's robot Biden. There's mask wearing Biden. You know,
and they zoomed in and you could see the creases of the mask. And you know what? I am really surprised.
And that's the best they could get him to do. I mean, come on. We can't leave some of these. They're like, listen, they got a fake Biden to stand there and be like, I'm confused.
That's why they did it. So their biggest motto is, you couldn't tell the world, you have to show them. So they pretty much, they're saying you had to see what it was like. And so we all know, I believe this is proven. I hope it's been proven. I hope you guys. We all know there's a deep state. We all know
we'll fact check.
Yeah, there's a deep state. There's a cabal. We all know with taxes and everything. We've been robbed for years. We all know that. And they didn't do that to us. And even the indoctrination in the school system. Oh my God, if I had small kids right now, they'd be homeschooled. But they didn't get away with all that by being stupid. They know what they're doing. So to show him fumbling and jumbling and doing all that. And then also just even look at, was it the State of the Union address when they were heckling Trump and holding up signs and they had fuck ice patches? It's like, it's so out there. It's so obvious how cruel and evil they are. And I think they're smarter than that. They wouldn't let us see that side of them. So that's why I feel like there's so much more going on than people realize. And no matter what side you're on, we all think it's crazy. It's nuts.
So
we need to talk about Trump a little bit more and conspiracy and where Trump's at now, because I think that he's in the Epstein files. I know a lot of QAnon probably don't, but
Q and Q separate things.
Sorry,
Q and Maga, Q plus. There's a Q plus where they believe that is
I think
Trump.
The Republican Party thinks
I don't know that.
Republican Party does think it's a conspiracy theory now. But the point is that it's so real that we're about to find out that aliens exist. I just heard that Trump just pulled in a bunch of pastors.
Sydney likes this one. She mentioned
just pulled in a bunch of pastors with some CIA dudes and some top military brass to start preparing their congregations that our real creators are these interdimensional beings.
Sydney, tell us about auras and frequencies.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is Trump is he wants to be the UFO disclosure president, doesn't he? He wants to usher in the new age of religion.
He's a master of distraction.
Oh, that's a different word. I haven't heard him call that yet. I like that. No, as far as the auras and frequencies, to be honest with you, that has nothing to do with Trump, the political thing, Q, or anything. That's something I discovered on my own. It's just like, do you ever walk into a room with people and you don't even know them, but you just don't feel comfortable? I can't explain it. Or
every time I walk in with Crockett, every day. Gives me the hip.
But the problem is we know.
I love it. Yes, the fact that you're able to say that out loud means there's a good aura.
And do you know what? He goes out of his way. If I sit next to him, we'll be at a dinner table with people, and the first thing he'll do is slide his hand on my leg and
Oh
slowly.
my God. I love it. But they
I like
can't.
to let him know who his daddy is.
Oh, God. But wait a minute. You're in Australia. You're in Austin. So that doesn't happen too often. right?
Not often. That's why we
Oh,
Not
cherish
often
those
enough.
moments.
Not often
That's
enough
why I
anymore.
make them count. That's why
So
I make
I
the
was going to
moments
say,
count.
so he just misses
That's
you.
right. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, tell us
I
about
can't
this
touch you
because
through the screen, Joe. I can't
You ha-
touch you through it.
you have. I mean, there's this global presence. You definitely have mentioned aliens, and
I
there's
did.
some outer world existence.
Now, I will say this. I mentioned it just because I want to document everything that's possible. I really did not go down that rabbit hole. There's like 100. You got the central banking. You got the adrenochrome.
Oh, there's more than 100 conspiracies you
yeah,
mentioned. That was
yeah.
like one page.
Well, different department. What different departments? You got the
Mhm.
banking conspiracies. You got the celebrity conspiracies. You got so much. And with each rabbit hole, there's 50 more down it. Aliens never really impressed me. So I didn't spend much.
They don't have a PR person. Right?
They're not
Resonate
putting a lot
probably.
out there, Joe. There's not a lot
No.
of pictures of them, or I haven't seen any statements from them.
So the little bit I read is, I guess they're out there. And I just wanted to document it. So I probably, and I don't remember everything I wrote in there, but what I probably did, I probably spent 1 hour reading an article and then I documented it. It's not my forte. In the beginning, my
It's
biggest.
more. I mean, you wrapped it around kind of cosmic events.
Yeah. And but this has nothing to do with anything. I am a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. I'm also a firm believer if you're not comfortable around someone, your stomach is upset or whatever, trust your gut. That's a frequency, that's an aura. And that has
Karma.
yes, and that has nothing to do with what I've learned politically. That's just something I've always known. And my intuition for people is usually spot on. I've been wrong a few times, but so that's
People
Must not be.
Yeah.
She
People
joined us
change.
here
People
today.
change.
She joined us here today. So you missed that one.
Yeah. No, actually, you guys are the kind of guys I really like. So you're
Oh,
good.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah, no, down to
She
earth,
likes that
easy to
icky
talk.
feeling when she walks in a room.
Yeah.
Just like-
With the right
She-
kind of uncomfortable.
she embraces it. Some people we
with the
chase
right
off,
kind of
but Sydney
uncomfortable.
gets it. She
Yes,
gets us.
yes,
Nice,
yes,
nice.
definitely. Maybe because I don't know. I was raised with brothers, and I've always been around men. Maybe that's why I don't. But yeah, no, the alien thing, I don't know. But I have seen them talking about it lately that they're going to
Gonna
release.
be a big release coming.
Yes.
So.
And see,
Yes.
my idea would be that they're the ones who are really in control, right? The aliens are the ones in control, right? The aliens
Yes.
are the ones who have us picking red or blue.
Yeah.
All right, we're not going that deep. But I want to bring up something because we talked about these conspiracies, these psyops that could be like digital cults, and how much of this is framing? Because framing a conversation. So I was with Governor Perry for a while, and as much as I know about that office, it's nearly impossible to actually pull off a conspiracy. There are things the news would always talk about. I was like, none of that is true. But there are things that did happen that nobody ever talks about. So I'm like, all right, I don't know if it's a conspiracy, but there's things that did happen. But I did know there's framing. And framing is where you basically try to put together a message and then you try to get that message to be echoed and then brought throughout. And one of them that I think is the most successful one that I've ever heard that is, I don't know if it's still in Maga, but it was in the first Trump movement. And I don't know if they are MAGA or not or where it is, but it's this mandate. The mandate cracks me up because the mandate was something that Bill Clinton was saying no to. He
Right.
wanted it to be businesses that were mandated. And it was a Republican idea because it makes sense. If you're going to have insurance, the only people who want insurance are the sick ones. The ones who are healthy don't want insurance. So if you want insurance to work, everybody has to be inside the insurance pool. It's an open market. That's how they work. This is Orrin Hatch. This is some of the core Republicans that put together this entire plan that sort of got shut down during the Clinton era. And if you remember how we ended up with the American Care Act, Obamacare,
Oh, yeah.
to bring up another Kennedy.
You can't forget, Joe.
Mhm.
So Kennedy was senator in New York. He passed away. And that lost their supermajority in the Senate, the Democrats at the time. So Brown was elected. And what that means was there was only one way to get the American Care Act through, and that would be we're going to have to take the Senate's version and we're going to have to do it through a process that's called ramification, which means it's up or no vote and it has to be for budget only. So instead of getting the House bill, which in Texas and the feds, it runs the same way, the House bill is always the one with all the details. So it's like so many pages because every House member has to put it together. And the Senate is the light version. Okay. What we ended up getting was the Senate version. And as we got the Senate version, there was this weird, strange mass where first people started to attack, say, oh, well, let's attack the Democrats because they didn't even read the bill. Let's do that one. So that had a little resonation, and people were starting to say, like, you didn't even read it. But like, who reads any of the bills? It's always their staff who does it. So it didn't really stick too well, right?
Uh-huh.
But the one that did stick was mandates. And they came out and said, well, they're making you do something. Like, what the hell? No, they're not. And the guns came out. It's like, oh, like hell. And all of a sudden, this mandate went from being something that Republicans were fighting for because guess who would normally get insurance? Rural family Americans. They were the ones getting insurance, and urban families weren't. So out in the country, they were having to pay a fortune for insurance, and in the cities, they weren't. So this mandate, which is a Republican movement, it's a conservative movement, all of a sudden switched, and all in a matter of framing. Now, if you bring this up in certain, that's why I say I don't know if it's still a Maga. It may be too old of an issue, but it's a great example that I saw right before my eyes. I'm blown away that I would see very conservative people like, well, that damn mandate, I'm not doing it. I'm like, what is going on that you're against the mandate? This doesn't make any sense to me. So I give that as an example of framing. And don't we see a lot of that framing? Because now I see it so much coming from this current administration because the entire cabinet.
Anything that happens is Trump's fault now.
Exactly. There's no question. Yeah.
His Ramesses. Yeah. So it shall be written. So it shall be said,
Yeah.
But so I don't say it as a conspiracy. I don't see it as a conspiracy, but I do see a massive amount of framing coming from one where we see our current administration, everything's being framed as it's Biden's fault. And then we see the other side, everybody's framing anything that happens, it's Trump's fault.
Right.
And so you do see this constant framing that comes out, and it seems to take over politics. It seems to take over everything, where it seems like that framing is now the new. For example, I want to give you, real quick, I'm going to give you two candidates and tell you what their platforms are, right? See if you can guess. Number one, economic growth. Number two, deficit reduction. Number three, middle-class tax relief. Number four, tough on crime, secure the border, energy independence, global trade, and no mandates, and anti-vaccine. Who do you think that was?
Some of that, is it one person?
That's 1992 Bill Clinton's platform.
No vaccines.
But even
would
those
you?
things,
Would it? Oh, I'm glad you brought that up.
Well, they're not things that people care about, because in reality, this is what people care about, and this is why it comes down to where you live.
Red herrings,
right? In California, everyone likes pink hair and likes to chop off their dicks. So if you can have someone who's going to run who says everyone can have pink hair and chop off your dicks, they're going to get elected. It doesn't matter what party they're in. It doesn't matter if they're Republican or Democrat. And this goes across the board. Like, literally, what I'm saying is you're in a cult, but it's not really the red or blue one. It's your social culture. What are you allowed to say publicly? Like, me and Joe always talk about how you have free speech in America, but you don't. I don't have free speech in Australia, but I do. So you, Sid, you think that I'm going to get in trouble every time I go outside and swear? Well, I'm not. There's one area, there's one place around one type of people that I can't swear in Australia. And that gets resonated around the world. And the same thing in America.
Right,
same thing. There's one place where they're going to chop off everyone's doodles, right? And now it's everyone. My kids live in Arizona. There are gun violence and school violence and everything. It gets perpetuated. The one or two times they do happen, then it's a political framing to be the problem. But the reality is people don't vote on real political issues. People vote on the personality. Yeah. Like with Hillary Clinton, people vote on whether she stayed with her husband or she should have left him and became part of the Me Too
Which
movement.
has nothing to do with the platform,
right.
But it does have to do with this framing of an argument.
Whether
like,
they're
what can
Christian,
you get
whether they're a Muslim, whether they're
Exactly.
anti-Muslim, whether they're anti-Christian.
Yeah.
And it's for that neighborhood, right?
Yeah. And it's funny you said that. My mother was 86. Said she did not like Biden at all. She goes, but I'm not voting for Trump. I says, well, why not? She goes, because he's rude.
Well, that one's different because that's not a framing, right? That is like, oh, I see what's going on.
No,
here.
but
So-
he
that's
said
really why people vote.
right,
And that's why the news didn't have to make up anything about Trump. The reality, people don't care about Trump. They just think he's a rude dickhead. And the news should have just said, yeah, okay, he's a rude dickhead, and he would never have got voted. Like, but the thing is, like, they lied, and then now people think that there's a conspiracy, and now I've got to vote against the conspiracy.
Their framing was really to go after like why he's bad, but if they just let him be exposed as he is,
if they let the truth speak for itself instead of trying to frame it. Yes.
Exactly.
Well, another one you brought up is the vaccines, because before COVID, if you recall, this isn't too long ago, anti-vaxxers was a wacko liberal issue.
Yeah, homeschool.
Yeah, they were the wacko liberals that were wanting to anti-vax. You're like, those damn hippies.
They don't even eat cows. Yeah.
So that's why it was a very liberal democratic issue, but now it's been flipped. So now it's like the anti-vaxxers, the Republicans, and the Democrats are like, yeah, you need a jab, right?
Yes.
So it's like
I'm not going to take a jab, but give me another fresh cow.
the word jab. The word jab is now, come to be.
It's funny because that category I was telling you about is not a Psyops, it's just a category that was me prior to 2019. Both my kids are fully vaccinated. I'm talking about childhood vaccinations. And I would hear about anti-vaxxers, and I didn't think anything bad about it or good. It's like talking about the weather. Right. And so I didn't even know it was a liberal thing. I was so apolitical before 2019. It wasn't even funny. And I started digging on the COVID vaccine, and then it made me look at other ones. But I'll tell you what, though, even me, I like to consider myself, quote unquote, wide awake. If I had small kids right now, I do know I would homeschool. But there are measles, there are chickenpox vaccines.
There's a lot of vaccines.
Yeah, I don't know. I would probably triple research because I would still be wondering if I should get them. I'm not going to lie. I would.
Yeah, Joe brings up a good point, because a very big fanboy or poster boy of the left, of the Democrats, is Robert De Niro.
Oh, yeah.
And Robert De Niro is very...
Sidney loves Robert De Niro.
This is what's so great about him, though. This is what's great about him is the exact opposite of what you just said, Joe. He is so pro-vax now when... Originally, he went to Sundance and he was going to bring the original anti-vax movie because one of his children got autism after being vaccinated. So he was all part of the anti-vax movement before COVID.
Really?
But he had to change his tune or change his framing after 2020, 2019, because he was on Team Blue.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Your book basically takes anyone you don't like and you call him a pedophile. So Robert De Niro was in that camp.
I do believe that. And
Allegedly.
I have to say allegedly.
So is Trump. Trump's a pedophile.
They say pedophile in Australia, right? Pedophile.
Pedo. We just say pedo.
Unfortunately, that's running rampant in Hollywood. But here's the thing. Is that really a conspiracy theory anymore? Because I feel so many people have come forward. So many people.
The conspiracy theory is, why aren't they getting arrested, right? That's the conspiracy. Who's kicking them out of jail? Who's kicking them out of jail? Who's giving Diddy leniency, right?
I want accountability.
You already know who gave him leniency.
And then why don't
we have about there's over $4 billion of fraud that have been pardoned. So people who've committed fraud were found guilty, many of them.
It does make you wonder.
Go ahead. I have a new theory on the legal system in America, and that it's a Ponzi scheme, right? It's a Ponzi scheme because we're at the point now where you can do any crime now because they don't have room to prosecute you, and they won't have room because there's too many people committing crimes. And that's why you see it in some states. They've literally changed the laws so it's not a crime to do certain things because there is no resources to police that what used to be a law.
Right.
What is strange, like Department of Justice, I don't know if anyone believes that it's unbiased now.
No.
It's definitely blind.
And, and
Heather can't see the truth.
And I referred to Trump's administration when it first happened. I referred to them as badass, And I mean, oh my God.
This is Bondi or?
Oh,
Oh,
Bond.
yeah. How much of a letdown? How much of a
Oh, my
letdown? Cash Patel is the biggest traitor, right?
Oh, how about
Dan
Christy?
Bongino, what an asshole. They
What-
are worse than the Democrats, aren't they? Come on.
I still love Dan, but Christy,
The
no.
MAGA meltdown right here,
Dan,
folks.
he's the pedophile protector. Dan doesn't even believe in the Epstein list now.
But
Before
Dan-
he was in the government, he did, but now he doesn't.
So after he doesn't even think the list exists anymore or whatever. And then he said a week later that what I saw shook me to my core. So it's like, which one is it? And then Christy, no, what's up with that? And her husband? I'm like, okay, what?
Husband or boyfriend? Just
Right.
kidding.
And it's funny, I have to retract that in book 3. I'm like, book 2 already came out, and I said his cabinet's badass, all great, you know. But
Yes.
but you know,
Well, that's
it's
why I
always
say
changed.
book 3 will be hard because you'll have to change quite a few things.
Oh,
The
oh,
framing.
They finally
The
got rid of
framing.
Pam
You have to
Bondi
catch
too,
up on the
didn't they? They
framing.
finally got rid
Ca-
of Pam. Yeah.
Yeah.
Catch
Yes.
up on the framing.
There was a couple things in book 1 and in book 2 that before I finalized it and I said, yeah, we're going to send it to print, I knew that didn't happen, or I knew I was wrong about it. I did not go back and erase it because I feel this misleading. If you guys want to know where MAGA's coming from, people that are thinking the Q boards are a possibility, I'm not going to go back in to make us look good. You need to see, oh God, we thought this, oh, we were wrong. So there's a lot of parts I look like an idiot. And I could have easily erased before I went to print. And I'm like, no, I want y'all to see the whole picture. So anyways, go ahead.
Well, I am glad you said that. But one of the things that your book did teach me that I never really understood until you brought it across is globalization. I'm an economist by trade, so there's micro, macro, and globalization kind of economics. And to be honest, before Russia invaded, I get the feeling you are somewhat of a Putin fan of Russia. I don't think I've lived in Ukraine for quite a bit, and they're definitely evil. But before Russia invaded Ukraine, I would have never thought any country to break up globalization. I would never have understood why would they disrupt the economic power. That's what I saw to be a champion. And after reading your book, I've realized globalization is something that I'm saying this as a question, even though I'm trying to interpret the way I read it. So please clarify, but take it as a question. I'm just trying to frame it in the way I think it is. And that is, it sounds like it's like, all right, the world is taking away our jobs. The world is taking away trade from us. The world is trying to influence us. And so keeping out that is actually part of the movement that is part of or America First. That is this globalization. And that has never hit me. But I pose that in a really bad explained question. But is that true? Is that the idea?
As far as the global takedown, you mean? Or
like, is that what make or America First is? It's part of this globalization that I see globalization as a good thing.
It's a nationalism, Joe. So we're having the same thing here we've got a rising leader who they're calling the female Trump, but she's nothing like Trump, but she supports Trump because she's using that as part of her rallying.
Lulu,
right?
Lulu
because
today
it's nationalism.
in Brazil.
She wants to, like all of our politicians are, their biggest concerns are about meeting efficiency, like energy efficiency targets and clean energy targets, right? And appeasing German partners or European partners. They don't care about people in Australia, right? The politicians. And so she's becoming popular now because she's going to put Australia first. Instead of our energy minister focusing on not creating energy, she's going to make our energy minister create energy for Australians, right? Because that's what their job should be doing.
right.
And so I think that's what people believe Trump was. I think that's what the MAGA people were, is they believed it was going to be someone who would push back against globalization as a way of, in order for globalization, we need jobs to be in China, and we need jobs to be in India or what. They're against that because they believe that takes away
American jobs.
their sovereignty.
Yes. Okay. All right. I do believe that. And I also believe that, like, again, I'm sure you saw this in book 2. I say it several times. It's global. What's going on globally? Everyone's feeling it. And all I could say is I truly believe that there's more going on behind the scenes. I don't know what, but I do believe that. And I feel that's the whole "Make America Great Again" thing. You know, the words "Make America Great Again," when this first started, it's getting old. It's been 6 years. It's getting old. When all this first started and people hated MAGA, I always ask the question, they hate us for our slogan. They hate us for our word.
I hate you for the hat.
Yeah, it's just the red hat. If you would have gone with green.
Just take it off
Green,
already.
or maybe
Just
a
take it
light
off.
blue.
Right.
I love how they're offended by that hat, but you can't be offended by their pink hair. I love it.
They should have gone with
yeah,
rainbow.
yeah.
A rainbow MAGA hat. That would have done it.
Yo,
Oh, that would have been
God.
killer. How did they miss that? How did they miss that? There would have been so much confusion. That would have been absolute beauty.
I never understood how the word offended them. It's you're American. Shouldn't that be your goal too? Make America great again. And like I said, it's been 6 years. I get it's getting old.
I think
but,
that's what the
in the
Nazis thought,
beginning,
though. The Nazis were like, we didn't think the symbol or the word would offend them. And we couldn't understand how that would offend anybody.
Oh, my God. Y'all, you need to get book 1. If you were blown away by book, you're going to be blown away by book 1.
It should have had in the prelude, it should be like, tie yourself down, because it's going to go. Like, what?
Book 1's worse. Book 1
This
is
is a
worse.
multi-season episodic.
I honestly, at the first
docu-series.
chapter, I was like, feeling tired. I'm like, man, I don't even know where my mind is.
Put a blender in there.
So, according to my reviews and the people I know that have read it, people that follow everything I do, they're like, we couldn't put it down. Oh my God, this is exactly what we felt. We saw this too. We knew this too. And the people who really never heard of it are like you. And then the people who are so far left, they get to page 3 and they whip it like a frisbee to the garbage can.
Well, it is definitely very right-leaning. There's no question. So I could see how someone left could read it and be like, okay, this is super right-leaning.
Yes.
But
I
at the same time, I wanted to dig into the mind and you know,
Yes.
kind of get the concept of someone there. So it does make me wonder now for this third book.
Yes.
You gave us the top 10 things. I'm not going to ask you to give us the top 10 things next book, but
Okay.
I do think the administration has already had to change some framing.
Oh,
For
definitely.
example,
Definitely.
like good Christian, they've now had to explain like,
Yes.
oh, why I mock Mueller. I mean, he
Yes.
mocked a dead guy. He went on Easter, dropped the F-bomb and threatened to kill all Iranians. So there's some framing that
was
is
in there
going
somewhere too, wasn't there? I think it posted blasphemy.
But
Exactly.
I'll tell you what, I'd rather that though than make an Easter National Transgender Day, though. But
Yeah, I did see
either one
boobies.
was
I
bad.
did see
Either
boobies
one
in
was
the
bad.
Biden White House. I
Yes.
did see that.
Yes.
I mean, I was going to a different direction, but you bring up something that's really good, and that's the framing, is that I see this often to where, and it's used in Twitter often. I have a Twitter addiction. I debate almost anything that moves. And it seems like anytime you go against an establishment of one of these psyops or one of these cultures, that is what they lean on. They don't try to dig into what is this. It's immediately like, well, it's better than the bad guy. And that turns into this red and blue to where it's like, all right, we'll point to the blue. Well, would you want Kamala doing this? And that's the answer. It's like, well, that's not what any of us are saying. That she didn't get elected. It's not there. So it does seem to
Tribalism.
You know,
it's tribalism. You know, it's the same with the team, with your sports team. It's the same with religion as well. You'll often hear religion say, I know my church is true, right? But those other churches aren't true because I'm in the true church, right?
Right.
It's a tribal thing.
I feel it's just escalated. It's escalated so much these last few years. It really has.
So then for this next book, how are you going to bring us together? How do we?
Well,
I think she's
how do we
coming
get over
towards the
this?
middle. I think she's.
I cut you off, and I didn't mean to.
That's
so.
okay.
Started out right, but I think she's coming to
You can
the
see,
middle.
Ethan and I do nothing but interrupt, so you have to interrupt us. To
no,
get a
you're
word in. We
good. You're good.
apologize.
So the joke is book three is either going to be the conclusion or it's going to be the admission that I've been doing. You know,
Nice.
and I will.
All the aliens come back. Oh Jesus!
This
there's
is
only those
good.
options,
Yeah.
right?
Because
There's
look,
only-
we have Tucker Carlson,
my God.
MTG.
I
know.
know.
You're off
Candace.
tonight.
MTG blew me away. I was one of her biggest fans.
If you
Talk
follow
about
her,
her.
it was really the Epstein card that she's like, oh my
Yes.
goodness, that is his card. She's like, I'm not doing this. And she
Yeah.
took a big one and put it on the wall. She's
Yeah.
like, that's the end. But
Yep.
Alex Jones now?
Oh,
Yeah.
and again, I'm a huge fan, and that blew me away. And I don't remember if it was in book 2 or if it's in 3. That one episode where he flung his chair against the wall. No, that's a little bit extreme, but
Alex Jones is nothing but extreme.
Yeah, exactly.
That's illegal in Australia. You
Yeah.
can't throw your chair in Australia.
Can't do that.
But I thought to myself when I watched that episode, everyone's like, "Oh, he threw the chair." I'm like,
That's assault with a deadly weapon down here.
I said, but we should all be that mad. We should all be that mad. And again, no matter what side you're on, we should all be that mad. And so anyways, yeah, I was one of his biggest fans. And then now you got all this. That'll be in book 3.
We'll see. Well, I'm interested to see this book 3 now. Is it the Mea Culpa?
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping it's a happy ending where everybody's holding hands singing Kumbaya. Hey, I can dream, right?
Well, Sidney, tell us real quick, where people can find you, where they can find your book.
So my book is on Amazon, all major websites. The first one's called Awakening, a Patriot's Diary of American Deception. Second one is called Golden Age Rising. Third one's Untitled.
We can help you. It's
Yeah,
the Crocky and Ed eye-opening.
I might have to give you guys a little expert in there.
I found the truth.
She's going to quote one of your conspiracy theories, Crocky. You
I'm
got
telling you,
into
it's the
her
aliens.
book.
The aliens come back and finish the story
Yeah.
of Earth, I think.
I'm on X, after Sidney 1776. And you know what I think we should do? Hopefully something big happens. Maybe it's the aliens, who knows? And then we got to get back on and talk.
All right,
you're
all
right.
right. Let's
We
do
only
it.
just
Let's do
just
it.
started. We only just
Yeah, we
started.
just
I
got
know,
started.
I know. There's too much to talk about.
I like it. Until follow-up on part 2, stay tuned.
Yes, you guys
Where
are
we
awesome.
where we see where it goes. Thank you so much for joining us, Sidney. Hostile Dysfunction.